Sometimes statement may not be clear, but there is always a deeper understanding. It is not just about the who said what. The whens, hows, and wheres are equally important. Join me on a whole new journey in the conversation with Augustus as I bring you discussions from religion to politics, health to economy, humanity to social activities, among many others. Conversation with Augustus knows no foreign borders. The show comes to you every Wednesday at 6:15 p.m. GMT on our YouTube channel Conversation with Augustus and on Radio Angelus www.radioangelus.com. This program is sponsored by Safe Life Experience Consult Limited. Contact them for all your travel and tour needs, as well as your events. Welcome to the Conversation with Augustus. God being so good, today I have with me Reverend Father Ebenezer Hanson. For those who have been an ardent follower of this channel, Father Hanson is no guest to you, even though he's my guest for tonight. He has been on this show on several occasions, discussing with us many things that has been happening around us. Today, we are going to take a look at his vocation as a priest. I don't take you for granted. I really appreciate you for using your data and watching our channel on YouTube Conversation with Augustus, and also listening to us on Radio Angelus, www.radioangelus.com. As I said earlier, we'll be talking about Father's vocation to the Holy Priesthood. Father Hanson, you're most welcome to the conversation.
Thank you.
Let me add that Father Hanson is stationed at the Archbishop Ando Katikatika Center in the Archdiocese of Accra, Kwadiabe, where we have the Our Lady of the Shy Hills. Father has been working in the vineyard of God for over 10 years now. He was ordained a priest together with 3 deacons then, and they were ordained by Most Reverend Gabriel Charles Palmer Buckle, the then Archbishop of the Catholic Archdiocese of Accra. He is now the Metropolitan Archbishop of Cape Coast. Father, once again, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you, my brother.
Okay, so let me ask you, is it difficult to be a priest?
Yes, please. It's very difficult.
And you chose to be a priest in the vineyard of God.
The priesthood is a very precarious vocation. It's a very dangerous vocation.
Why do you say that?
Because the founder of the priesthood today had a broken heart and had a seizure of the heart on the cross. So he died of seizure of the heart, cardiac arrest.
Is there any scientific proof for that he died of?
Oh, yes. There is. The tendon, there is got seizure. 7. So we are told he breathed his last. Then this thing got.
So that's a cardiac arrest?
Okay, maybe it's not arrest, but of course, the heart could not work again at the point in time. And that was it. It is finished.
So why do you choose to join a vocation which is very dangerous?
That is the issue. It's a mystery. This vocation is a mystery in itself. So the fact that it's dangerous, but one wants to go in for it, that's a mystery. But of course, even for political ambitions, people know that they will insult you, but they want to be president because they have a certain motivation. After all, it's not compared to the money they will get. And they will loot, you see. So for me also, going to heaven is the motivation. Going to heaven. Someone may ask, but you can become a lay person and go to heaven. It is true. But going to heaven, not alone, but with people. To offer sacrifice for everybody, including my enemies. For me, that is the motivation. Because I decided not to go through again. At a point in time, I didn't want to become a priest. But the Lord made me know that I had to become. Okay.
So heaven is a prize that your soul strives to gain. That brings in mind that beautiful hymn, which Catholics know. Yeah, yes, heaven is a prize. Yes.
The prize, yes. Ultimately, heaven.
And isn't there any other way you could choose to go to heaven than becoming a priest if heaven is a motivation? By doing good, by doing other things would also gain you heaven and not necessarily becoming a priest.
I had only one way growing up. I didn't know about heaven. I heard of heaven, but I didn't think that I would go to heaven. I knew that I would be a footballer. And while playing soccer, I believed in Juju. Okay. I believed in Juju. And that's what our coach Malam was initiating us into. And I believed this so much that I believed that it went. The day I converted, it was in the church. After I had been disappointed by the Juju and the prediction of the Juju man that the man that will win by a goal, and we lost by a goal. I went to church the next day, and I felt the Lord spoke to me from the cross. And that was the turning point of my life. So the cross is what I saw, and heaven is beyond the cross. Therefore, if it was not football, it was heaven through the priesthood.
You were going to win by a goal, and then you lost by a goal. That was the deciding factor. That brings to mind, recently, some prophets made prophecy concerning the Copa America that Brazil against Argentina, Brazil was going to win, and it ended up that Argentina rather winning. Also, the same prophet prophesied that England was going to win against Italy, and it turned again, Italy rather won the cup. Your prophet then, the Malam, who told you that you were going to win by a goal to nil, and you lost by a goal. At the end of the day, what was that deciding factor in that moment that made you realize that this is a wrong path, and that was the path for me to take, the right path?
Yes, my brother, in actual fact, when we lost that match, I felt so bad because I was playing the left fullback. That is the number 3 position. Actually, I was a CC player. I could play every position from goalkeeping to my 11. But in that game, I played at the left fullback position. We handled them until almost the last minute. When I remember 2 players came on me, it was 2v1. That is 2 versus 1, 2 players versus me. Okay. And then they managed to pass themselves, and then they win the score. And we lost the game. I felt so bad. I couldn't blame God. No. But I was disappointed in the Malam, who predicted that we would win. And we lost. And then going to church, that it was my normal routine to go to church on Sunday. But I didn't go to church because I had to convert. No. I didn't go to church because I had to look for a better option. No. But when homily began. That day it was Father Migolopon. Wherever he is, may God bless him. I hear he has left the church. If somebody is hearing me and knows him, the person is telling him that he's homily converted me. He's homily converted me.
And he has left the church now, and you are now a priest.
Yes, yes. For all you know, he was ordained a priest because of me. For all you know, that's the only reason why it was because of me. So I'm living his priesthood and mine. Can you imagine? I'm living his priesthood and mine at the same time. So that day he preached, and the first reading was from the call of Jeremiah.
Okay.
Jeremiah chapter 1. Yes. And I still remember the passion with which he preached. And that's what made me feel that I was also a possible candidate for the priesthood. It was a stammerer, and I was a stammerer. When he told his own story, I could identify vividly with him. But beyond that was the fact that after his homily, even when he was preaching, I could feel that something was communicating with me. The Lord was communicating with me on the cross, or from the cross. I felt a connection to the Lord and the cross as he hung on the cross in the church. Right through to communion time, it was a yelling, a fire burning up in me. And that was it. I still didn't know that I was going to be a priest, though, until my father's friend, a family friend, Mr. Tira, an uncle of mine, came to hold my hand and led me to the sacristy. He didn't say anything to me. I didn't say anything. And then, behold, he introduced me to the then vice president, vice chairman of the mass service, Nila Yashia, and then the sacristan, the lawyer, yes, now, Nila Yashia, aka Commodore, class 8 teacher. And then the then sacristan, now Father Thomas Vituri, the dean of Osudimi, parish priest of Mary Mother of the Council. Yes. And he just told them that I said I would like to be a master when I didn't say anything to anybody.
So he lied.
Yeah, I can say he lied, but I think it was something prophetic also. Yeah, I didn't say no. I didn't say yes. I just looked at him and he said I should go and write application letter, come to the church on Thursday for rehearsal in the evening. Yeah. And can you imagine the letter I wrote? I wonder if I was able to write any good English. I wish I chanced on that letter. I mean, English, what are we going to do with English at the time? My mind was football. Football was everything for me. But on Thursday, when I went to church on Thursday, my school was, 8-3, very close to Community 8, So when I was for the afternoon shifts, when we closed, instead of going home and coming back at 6:30, we closed at 5. I went straight to church. So I was there for about 1 or 30 minutes before we had the rehearsal. And I was just coming through the church as if I was a newcomer in the church. Then I discovered the way of the cross, the pictures of the way of the cross. And then Our Lady's statue carrying Jesus, baby Jesus. I discovered also the tabernacle. I saw it well. Then the crucifix again on the sanctuary. And then, of course, the St. Joseph the Worker statue. And everywhere I went, I said a prayer. And because of the priest who had preached and what he said, I thought that, Lord, if you make me pass, I'll pass my exams. I'll serve you as a priest. Mother Mary, I went to her. If you make me pass my exams, I'll serve your son as a priest. I went to St. Joseph. If I pass my exams, I'll serve your son as a priest. Meanwhile, I knew I was not studying. I was informed to them. Almost informed to, I think, even informed to the first time. It was January. And God being so good, I passed miraculously. I think it was a miracle that I passed. But I didn't believe that.
Was your father surprised or your mom surprised when you told them that Oh, I wanted to become a priest. I want to be a priest.
Everybody was surprised. Everybody, not only my father and my mother, my siblings, neighborhood, those in my neighborhood. Ah, Kofi. One of my first nickname was Ochinamewu. The second nickname was Asirwa. You know Asirwa?
Yeah.
Small birds. At the point in time, I was nicknamed Mandela, Nelson Mandela. There was Jamila. My father didn't want me to go to Pope John. When I said I would go to Pope John, then I got to know that, oh, I could go to Pope John and become a priest because there were some masters in Pope John Manor Seminary. Mm. He said, no, I should attend Tema school, day school. I said, never. Because I had in mind I'll be a priest. He said, no. Now you are with me in Temaka. I can't manage you. And you're going to far away, Kufodia. No, don't go and tarnish my image there. As for my teachers, you see, I chose Pope John 3 times. First choice, second choice, third choice. Then we had 3 choices.
Yeah.
My class teacher, then Miss Clara, look at me. I said, are you serious at all? One of the good students, I've chosen Pope John first choice, first class school 3 times. Better go and change it. But I maintained it. And by the grace of God, I got it. My siblings they were teasing me when I said I would go to the seminary and become a priest. You know what they were telling me? Now you can't speak. You're a stammerer. How would you preach? Or you'll be singing the homies. You know, stammerers don't stammer when they are singing.
Yeah, singing. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were teasing me. Yeah. The Lord be with you. You believe the Lord that. Oh, they were teasing me.
Oh.
But you see, I had the conviction that if Padre Migolopon said he was a stammerer and he could preach that powerfully, I could also become. We'll get to where I am. Also, yeah, obey ye. Yenya sorry, no fine. My tunkika ye we. The trema da bojuma. Mojarity. Kese okera. And then they ran. Didel. Okay. Unyabi woman. The Bamefa. Emma over.
Okay, so further, from Pope John's, you went to Emisano and then back to Soweto for your philosophy, and then to St. Peter's Major Seminary for your theology. In all this, the seminary formation, how did it transform you from that Achinamewu Kofi you were to that to now that beautiful priest we have today? Can you walk us through this process?
So I would say the transformation for me, and today, after a long period of pondering, I would say that right from the womb, the transformation was taking place. So every year, everywhere I've been to, I want to give the credit to everybody I've encountered. My mother, father, my siblings, the priests, my peers, teachers, formators, friends, strangers I met. So I would say that when I in our house, actually, we were praying together as a family on Sundays. I remember that devotion we had on Sundays. Wherever you were, you had to come home. We were playing at home with my dad. We were 4 boys, so he joined us. We were 5, and we share and play. For studies, I didn't like studies, so that one it was not really an issue. But I think that generally there was kind of formation going on at home. discipline and all that, hard work, is that I would like to go and play. So I was usually not at home. But in the community, I was serving people. They would send you, go here, you go, come here, you come, and I just go and come, all like that. But Pope John, the 3 years before Pope John was the mass service, when I joined mass service, it was like a really nursery seminary, a nursery kind of seminary. That's where I really saw the 4 pillars of formation. Prayer life or spiritual life, the mass service, we were really groomed, having Bible quizzes and all that. We also learned, we worked hard. We played. We had time for games. All forms of games we had at the church. So, and our moral upbringing, we had coaches who were helping us. Our senior men were coaching us. So when I went to the seminary, Manual Seminary, it wasn't difficult for me at all. Spiritual life, going to church, going for mass, I was never late. Studies, of course, I had become serious since I passed my exams and I promised when I was studying, I studied. So studies was there. Then games, I was there. Work, I was there. So generally, in the discipline, from here, go there, go there, go there. I got it already as a master. So it was easy for me to live it. At Ebenezer, St. Teresa's Manual Seminary, that's where I had the post-senior secondary school formation. And look, just 9 months, for me, it was a beautiful time. A new experience coming from Accra, Tema, Pope John. I went to Ebenezer. It was a totally different form of formation. Tough, rugged, full of life and energy. It was so beautiful. And I still have fond memories of Ebenezer. And the 9 months I spent there, we were and cut lots of wood from the thickest part of the forest, and we come. And the joy of it, it was simple. It was to train us to be very simple and to learn to manage simple resources or limited resources. That was enough for us. High discipline also. Then, so too, that's where we had a spiritual year and then the philosophy. Yes, 2 years of philosophy, 1 year of spiritual year.
Right.
It was a more matured environment where we studied more into logic, the philosophy courses, scriptures, spirituality, and all that. Psychology, everything was there. And we learned to be more independent, thinking independently, praying independently, living independently. Unlike Ebenezer, where it's like you were confined to places. But here you were allowed to do everything, but you have to be more responsible towards it. In at Pedu, the very last phase, which was 5 years, 4 years on campus, 1 year outside. As for that last phase, it was the most beautiful. When we were leaving Pedu, I was sad. My friends said that they would donate me to the seminary. I was sad. I enjoyed every moment. Theological formation. For you to know that through the psychology and the philosophy and the rest, you could see God, you could meet God. And there I had more time for prayer, more time for discernment. So it was during the time, after pastoral year, that I said, I will leave the seminary. I will not go back for the final year. Not because I didn't like the seminary, but I felt, no, it was enough. I had done enough, and the best of the seminary. But today I'm a priest. So the seminary formation, human formation, training us to have character, intellectual formation, helping us to use our brains and our minds. spiritual formation, helping us to pray, connect to the source of our lives. And then the pastoral formation, how to serve out of our free will. And this is what, for me, I've carried along. I love all my formators. I had a diary where everywhere I went to from John, I wrote all the names of the formators. And I'll look at their strengths and I'll write, maybe Father Limer, and I'll write, he's good in this, that. Father Atta, good, that. Father Siedu, that. I'll write all that. And I was imitating them one by one. So I picked all of them. You can imagine the formators I met.
Yeah.
Last the parish priests, all of them whom I met, from Father Louisa to the very last person, Father Attention, Father Joseph Hermenza, and then Father
Holy
Jerry Manomi. Father Jerry Manomi, they were the last priests who were dead before I was ordained.
Oh, okay.
So from Father Louis, who was alone, later on Father Kusi came, may so rest in peace, and Father Kemeche, the first batch, and then the last batch. Between, I had to learn from everybody. The bishops, I met Bishop Andor, the seminarian before Bishop Bakal took over. I had to write about them, learn their good deeds. All the priests I went under as a seminarian for pastorals, I did the same.
So what, taking their good deeds, what did you do to their bad deeds? If they were good.
I'm to learn from their good deeds. The bad deeds, it was theirs. I prayed for them. If I saw anything that was weak and negative, I prayed for them. Their weakness, I prayed, but their strengths, I picked. And they say, what you hate in others or what you dislike in others, correct in yourself. So even if I saw a weakness in a priest, I use it as a lesson to learn to be positive with it. Not just go and condemn them and then, no. But I did consistently.
The program is a conversation with Augustus, and we are having a chat with Reverend Father Ebenezer Kofi Hanson. He's the Assistant Director at the Archbishop Andor Katikatika Center in Kwadiabe. This program is coming to you on our YouTube channel, Conversation with Augustus, and also on our online radio station, www.radioangelus.com. Let us know your comments and any questions you have, and we would address that for you. After ordination, now you are a priest. You were sent to work with Father Samuel Mensah at Star of the Sea Catholic Church. Then you moved to become the assistant youth chaplain for Accra Archdiocese. Then the two of us were into one, youth and vocations. So you assisted Father Henry Aholu, who was then the chaplain. And now you're at Kwadiabe. We'll come to Kwadiabe. What sent you to Kwadiabe? But let's take these two first. At Mampobi Dinri, first youth chaplain, assistant priest, parish priest to Father Mensah, the life in Dansoman, in Mampobi Dinri.
Oh, please, you're making me have nostalgic feelings. You see, interestingly, Father Mensah had his confirmation on the same day with me.
Wow.
Yeah. The same parish. My the late Archbishop Dominicando. We had that confirmation in 1996. First communion, I had it in 1995. So confirmation was in 1996, August, 25th August. Then I chose him as my spiritual director. My personal director. When I was in Peru, I chose him because I saw him as a very serious person, serious-minded person.
Very.
Strong character, yes.
Very.
The fact that only 2 years, almost 2 years in the ministry, or 2.5 years in the ministry, I was put in charge of Star of the Sea. I saw a certain trend. Father Luis was in Olam. about 2 years or so, and was put in charge of Committee 8. And then Father Fulton was our parish priest, Committee 8. Then he went to serve the sea. It was the seminary of Father Louis, went in serve the sea, Margaret Mary. In almost 2.5 years, he became priest in charge of staff the sea. I saw that he was a serious person then, because under Andrew especially, for a young priest to become in charge, when there were some senior priests who were not in charge, was a big deal. So I targeted him as like a strong person. I started to see him as my shadow writer until I was ordained. When I was ordained, the 3 slots which we had to occupy, cathedral, St. Joseph, and then Star of the Sea, I told my two brother priests that I will go to Star of the Sea. The demon will go to the cathedral because he's a type who is diplo, so that he will be secretary to the bishop. One day we should become a diplomat. Then for Dennis, I told you go to my parish committee. So I can go and use your big English there. For me, I thought that I started to see to the youth were there, and I love to be with the youth. I like to play with the youth, and they are singing to us. Okay, you know, the less and that parishes usually they have people around, and me, I'm a Buka person, so I thought I should go there. But also because of Father Fulton, even though Father Louis, who has been my father, was also at the cathedral, but I thought that I had to go to Father Fulton because of the place. Otherwise, I would have loved to go to the cathedral, but the Ebenezer was for the cathedral, I believed. So when Archbishop announced the appointment, it was exactly what I said. So we're all happy when I went. My first meeting with my pastor, I told him, Father, we are not here as parishioners or as spiritual director. By law, I had to change him as spiritual director. I had to change him. So I moved to Father Hinkra, James Hinkra. So I told him, please don't treat me because so and so because nicely because I am your parishioner or I was your spiritual director. Please, I have just been ordained a priest. I have to learn how to be a priest. So whatever you have done to Father Wisdom as an assistant priest, please do it to me and help me to be a good priest. That's how it began. And he never pampered or no, we were still, and look, he's a serious person. We worked. No, we didn't joke over there. And the parishioners are lovely. From babies to grandmothers, grandfathers. Oh, I mean, it was life. We built the community in prayer, based on prayer, spirituality, with creation, youth.
I remember there was a time when I was then working at the communication office of the Accra Archdiocese. There was a time there was this the reconsecration of Ghana unto the Sacred Hearts of Jesus. Then my immediate boss was out of the country, so he was stepping in and some thoughts came to mind, and I told my immediate administrator then, Antibeg, it's okay, fine, let's talk to Father Ebenezer about it and see what happens. He was very supportive and he pushed, and it went well. And we were able to do what we were supposed to do because we were a bit, because it's like it was a national program. Now the government is involved. So like we as a media of the church, our hands were a bit tight. But we went to see Father Ebenezer. We needed a letter to the newspaper. Just the same day, few hours, he did it. So to attest to the kind of person Father Ebenezer is, very true, very serious-minded, and very jovial too. If you are close to him, oh my God. So, yeah.
You see, we have some similarities. In fact, Archbishop always thought that we were just brothers or something. People misconstrue the two of us. Somebody saw me people will see me at the grotto at Margaret Mary, and they'll come to me and start talking to me like it was Father Ebenezer. They were singing. I said, what do I have? They would always come to me and talk to me as if they were singing Father Ebenezer. And I'll keep quiet and I said, oh, It is Father Hanson. No, in Lenten season, we did 40 days together. Me now, I love to do it, and it was doing it already, so it was beautiful. 40 days fasting and prayer. We did it together. We moved with the church. And he's doing it, won't you do it? At dawn, he wakes up, he's praying. Won't you, assistant, won't you wake up and pray? So I learned to be a priest there. 2.5 years to 3 years, I learned to be a priest there. They loved me. Father loved me. People thought it was difficult for me to be there, to work with Father. But I'm telling you point blank that if I ever said that it was difficult, yes, once in a while, because of ideologies, maybe style, let's do this way, let's do that way. But he's in charge, so allow him to let his will be done. If it doesn't work out, he may respect your view later on. But, and also as a principle, he felt that parish first before other duties. And that is why it was not even happy when I was becoming, you were going to make me the village chaplain. He felt I should be there with him. Why? Because he also had appointment as the dean. And so deans always go for meetings here and there. So he felt when he goes and I also go, the two positions were all like out parish active positions. So I always felt that one should be around or we should all be there. And me too, I thought that if they are moving at the outside level or junior level, I have to move. So once in a while we had some classes there. But he understood it. He himself said that, oh, you like to be, it would be good to work at the youth office. He himself said it. And I'm sure he recommended me to work at the youth office.
So that's
this is where my priestly umbilical cord has been planted.
I hope when Charles Makodwe hears this, he'll be so happy.
Oh, it is there they made me a chaplain. They made me an assigned chaplain. Man forbid me and the priest, we call ourselves Venerable Brothers. They made me an assigned chaplain. Man forbid me and pastor.
So you worked with Father Holly, and you were also in charge of like the assistant priest for Saint Raphael, the Archangel Rectorate.
Yes.
I've as a youth assistant youth chaplain, and later on he became the boss, the chaplain. That's through life in Lashibi, the vocation office. This was a very huge duty. And a young man less than 4 or 5 years into priesthood, assisting a priest in such a big capacity. How were you able to handle it?
I was less than 3 years actually. So you look at the map, Father Luis's less than 3 years or 3 years movement to be in charge. Father Futimesa, less than 3 years to be in charge. Then I moved from Father Futimesa in about 3 years to be in charge.
So you worked with, how long did you work with Father Aholu?
Oh, just some 9 months or 7 months.
Wow. And then he took over?
Yes. In 2013, I took over. I was there in November 2012. I was transferred in September 2012. But I went finally in November 2012. It took effect in November 2012. And then I took over from Father Holu on the 4th of August, the memorial of Saint John Meridiani. A Sunday. Okay. I had an assistant in October 2015. So I worked for about 2 years. Or two years and some months before I had an assistant.
Wow. So we know, or we heard, let me frame it. Those who were close to the youth within the leadership role, from deanery level to archdiocese level, saw something. Some say there were a bit of misunderstanding between you and then your boss, Father Aholu. Is it true that you and Father Aholu, to a large extent, did not agree on a lot of things?
It's interesting, though. Is it very interesting? Look, Father Aholu carefully brought me into the office. Look, I would say that at all, he did the Kanana. Father Aholu was my assistant parish priest, assistant priest at Committee 8.
Yeah.
Then here, Father Amwa, when we were in the office, when Father was in charge, were inviting me to youth programs and vocation programs, even as a seminarian. So he started coaching me and harnessing my talents. So before ordination already, as for those who were very close to the youth office, they knew that I was going to the youth office. I got the wind of it. And I prayed against it. Not because I didn't want to work there, I didn't want to work with fathers. No. I felt I was born and bred in Tema. And I should begin my life, I should work in the village. So from Southern, I wish I would have gone to the village guy and worked about 5 years. Then I'll come back into the city probably. But I felt once I went from the city, I won't go back to the village again. That was what I thought. Father Aholu consciously pushed me or quoted me to be his assistant. So as his assistant, when I was a district chaplain, he took me to national meetings here and there. So before I go to national, they knew me there. Not knowing, he knew he'll be leaving. I didn't know, he didn't tell me.
But you are not, I don't think you are answering my question.
I'm giving you a background so that you appreciate better what question you have asked.
So the question is, even though you and Father Aholu were in the same parish rectorate, living in Lashibi, the same compound, in the same rectorate, in the same office, was there confusion between the two of you? Even though you come out to smile, but were you two of you hiding something?
No. If you want me to answer straight away, no, that's why I'm laughing.
So why do you think people would make such a serious allegation?
I am telling you that with Father Felton, we had disagreements. You can ask the youth of staff, the leadership. They thought I was for Father Felton. Father Felton thought I was for the youth. I was in between the two. But I made sure that when I was with Father Felton, I made him know what he had to do to help the youth. One of the youth, I had to make them know what they had to do to help their pastor, to understand their pastor. So they all thought I was for the other. Until I left, then they saw that I was helping them to do what is right. I can't come to the pastor and condemn the youth, or go to the youth and condemn the pastor. No. What can we all do to meet at a point? Now, Father Aholu has his own temperament, different from Father Mensah. Father Aholu has this phlegmatic part of him. Okay, so you have to take initiative, or else when he decides, it is for you to come on board. When I went there, in my mind, I was going to be there for about 3 years as an assistant. So quickly, I signed on with Father Angra for the CPE in Kofodia. So most of the time, Monday, from Tuesday to Thursday, or from Monday to Thursday, we went to Kofodia, came back on Thursdays, and I'll be there till Sunday or Monday and go back. Okay. If I disagreed with him or he disagreed with me, if there had any confusion, it would have been about youth meetings, maybe some ideas or some policies with the youth. And then maybe at the meeting, I may recommend something and he may say no. Okay. It doesn't mean that we are fighting. But it's because usually I was not around. So maybe I was not around and we had a decision as an executive. Maybe I came back and the meeting, the decision was put at a meeting, general meeting. But I'm there. The fact that I was not around, maybe I should have asked. Okay, but I'm there and the decision is going on. And I feel like I contribute positively towards it. Sometimes you can even be there to discuss, but at the meeting, someone may say something which you think that is better than the decision you are taking. For the good of the church, you should try and bring out the, and that's why I am. So maybe he will say no. Fine. But we'll go on. It may work or it may not work. You understand? So it was not because Father had maybe, as somebody would say, as soon as say stepping on your boss or something. No. If we had a disagreement, but not over money, Father gave me interest. He forced me even to go to the World Youth Day. He forced me to go. I didn't want to go. I was not ready to go for that World Youth Day in Brazil. So it's not as if Father brought me into. No.
So there was no confusion between the two of you. So people were trying to make it was
no.
There's
if
no
I had an idea and it felt maybe it was far-fetched, that it didn't mean that my idea was bad.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't understand the concept I was bringing on board, maybe at a meeting or something, maybe a second meeting or something. But we won't move on. When I took over, those thoughts I had, which I thought was good, we also tried. It worked. Some may not have worked. Somebody else took over, and they're still working.
Definitely.
So if we disagree with somebody, it doesn't mean that you have issues.
Thank you. So in disagreement, there's unity.
Yes, always be my boss. We meet, we chat. No.
So the program is The Conversation with Augustus, and we are about running up this interview. Father had a mystical experience, which we are not going to dive into it because we've done an extensive video recording on this. I will link the video to this one beneath this video so that you could just click on it and then have a look at it. Because it's a whole topic, but it's a whole, but we can even do that on 1 month, we will not even finish. So you can just go there and then look at the mystical experience he had. But I will let him say a word or two on that, and then I would wrap up with my last question. So Father, if you want to say anything about your mystical experience, and then we'll come back to, you didn't want to go to the village, but now you are stationed, you are now stationed at the village.
So maybe I'll talk about this in relation to what you are talking about, the mystical experience. You see, as I said, the priestly life is a mysterious life. And because you are serving a mysterious God, you have your own will, but God will make you depart from it. When it deny you of it, if it is good, doesn't mean that you will not get it again. So as a human being, in my flesh, in my being, I thought that I had to begin from the village. And I also wanted to go to be in the monastery. Okay, because I was afraid of some things the Lord revealed to me before he convinced me to become a priest. The things he told me, that I would be persecuted, that the church was going to go through some challenges, that many things he told me then are happening today. And he said he would need me to work for him. I have all in my diary. And that scared me, and I thought that I should be in the monastery. So I felt, okay, it's a word, a kind of if I will work for you, then let me be in the monastery and work for you. But I had to come out and work. And I told my bishop, Bishop Bako at the time, he said, it's good to be in the monastery. But then he put me at the youth center. Can you imagine? I had no regret at all. Of course, he knew I could do it. But my mind was on this life of solitude. So I was blending the two. With the youth, they were happy seeing me, Jama and all that.
Yes,
Tamale, from Jama to Jama. So you see, when I see these young ones who are trying to do Jama, I look at them and I say, you don't know. Anybody who has sung Jama for 13 hours before is the one who can beat me with Jama. 13 hours of no food, no water, no weaving, no people. From Tema, that should be at 4:30 to Tamale. 5, almost 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I think that was the second Ghana, what is the Ghana version? Yeah.
Exactly. You see, I did all that. So I say God brought all that was in me out. He still had his plans. And I appreciated life in the city for me to see the plight of those who are wealthy, those in the city, their own plight, before he plunged me into the
village you were desiring to.
The bush, the villages, and now I'm swimming there. I have no regrets whatsoever leaving the city. Because in 2017, January, I was in the monastery at the Chiman, and our lady told me that I will be at the hermitage for 1 month. And from there, wherever the Archbishop sent me, I should go. And indeed, Archbishop came to me on the 5th of October 2017 and told me that I'll be going to Sopon, where there's hermitage. And I went to live in one of the hermitages. And he told me to be 1 month, but you see, the Lord triggered all of us and made it 100 days. And there I discerned more. He revealed more to me. So this pandemic is happening, and there are more to come, even to the church. The Lord showed all to me. Our lady showed all to me. When I came back, I told the then Beza and the then secretary of the bishop, Father Atta and then Ebenezer, that God gave us Archbishop Buckle, who understood us, a bit liberal with us. We did not help him to do his work. We didn't work for him, but he'll give us somebody who will lead us to do what the Lord wants. It happened.
This is a bit heavy. If you can just break it down a bit, that the priest did not help Archbishop Omabako to do what he's supposed to do. So then he's going to send him away and bring in a new bishop to do what he wants him to do. That's what God wants him. So does it mean that the priests were disobedient to Archbishop Omabako, or was Archbishop Omabako disobedient?
You see, when you're appointed to work for somebody, the person has appointed you. It's like president. You must work for your boss. You understand? All the Gola Balus around the Archbishop, if we all work very hard, you would have taken the credit. But all the issues that were coming up and down, what were we doing ourselves? And we are not building cathedral. Let me take the cathedral restoration, for instance. Look at it. Even not the cathedral restoration, let's take the welfare, this welfare issue. It was not Bishop Buckle who brought it into being that we should not have second collection. It was Andor. He only said that he would not take it out. Oh. But you see how we priests communicated to the lay people as if it was Buckle who did that. It was Andor, 1996. I was in charge. I had converted. I was in charge. Father Luis, now the Speaker General, was the renewal coordinator. The pastoral office was the pastoral coordinator also, and the Beza.
So okay, in a way, okay, you continue, sorry.
We priests had to work, and the same should apply to our new bishop. I mean, anybody who comes, it's a throne. So even if a child is made a bishop, we must work to protect him. You understand? But when we scheme to be divided and we try to work against the same people we trusted are the same people who are issues.
So I just want to get it correct. It is not that Archbishop Omabako did what he was supposed to do. He did God's work, but the priest working beneath him to assist him do the work very well failed to do the right thing. So then the lay people now blame the head.
Exactly.
So the problem is not the head, but the problem was those who were supposed to go do the work.
The head also had to be quite strict on us to do what is right. You know, he was liberal on us. Look, let's say Christmas, and then we come and we praise all priests. We are doing well. Let's clap for our priests. Meanwhile, people know that there are issues. People are fighting their priests in the parishes. And who says it doesn't know? You see, you're not saying that condemn your priest, but we needed a bit tough and discipline. Now he has left. Has anything changed in Accra? What has changed in Accra? There's a new bishop. Bishop alone cannot do the work. we must come together and say that we are working. There's only one lion, but the rest of us should be the sheep he is leading. But it looks like we seem to put ourselves ahead of our leaders.
So
this was revealed. I just told the two of them, and it happened. By March, our bishop was transferred. How come I knew that it was Kofi who was coming? How come I knew? Who had told me? I didn't know him. I didn't even know that somebody who knows him. I didn't even tell anybody that I was praying, and that he was the one I saw. My show director, Father Himfi, very experienced, told me that there was no way they would bring Kofi here in Accra. But he was the one I saw. I didn't tell anybody. I fasted and did penance for 9 months with my hair. That hair, I've cut it, I've saved it, I've stored it. Yes. And indeed, he came. Why? Because if God had revealed something, it had to come to pass. And he is the one who came. I didn't know him anyway. And I must owe allegiance to him as I owe allegiance to Archbishop Bacchus. It's about the information of the church. We must move.
So that brings me to a certain a picture in mind. At ordination, the priest together put his hands, his two palms or hands together in a prayerful mood and puts this hand like this in the bosom of the bishop and then promise obedience. So does it mean that in that process of promising obedience to the bishop who represents Christ, at the same time, the same priest who does this is obey his master, for lack of better word?
You see, what I've gone through, people think Archbishop hated me. It's not true. Archbishop loved me. But you see, we are told that Christ had to obey through suffering. Okay. Christ had to learn to obey through suffering. Obedience is very difficult, but it must be to help build the church. So if all of us obey God, there's no problem. The bishop must obey God by making sure that his authority is felt in his houses without crushing people to death. I'm not saying that. Okay. Then the priest must also obey God by obeying the bishop to move along. So supposing, you see the image of Noah got drunk and he was exposed. One of the sons went and watched his nakedness and called his brothers to come and look and then help to catch it. That was why he cursed him. But when the two came, they even took their eyes off and covered him. So what I'm saying is that as priests, even if our leader has a weakness, we must work around him and cover him. We don't expose our leaders. Okay, whether it is Andor or it is Bacchus or it is Kofi, it shouldn't be. We must all move. It is a throne. The person there, we must help. That is what I believe in. So it can be from us. We may have an issue. If we don't have that mind that we want to build a church together. Every style, a leader has a style. If Bacchus' style is this way, and somebody's style is this way, let us move along and see how we can use the style to better the church. But it seems we all go our separate ways and everybody is champion. Deans are champion in their deaneries, parish priests are more champion in their parishes, and society members are champion. So nothing is happening. We've had all the policies, we've had the synods and the rest. What is happening to us?
Okay, Father. We'll talk more on this 100 days in Saltpond.
You asked about life. You asked about mistakes. You see where we are heading towards.
Yeah, that's why I said we'll definitely talk about your 100 days, 1 month, 100 days at Saltpond, because I think all this will be all this is linked to that, and then we would talk more. The program has been conversation with Augustus, and my guest has been Reverend Father Ebenezer Kofi Hanson. Father is a priest of the Catholic Archdiocese of Accra, and he has been a priest for more than 10 years. After his ordination, he was sent to South the Sea, became the first deanery chaplain for Mampropi Deanery, and then move on to become the assistant youth and vocations director for just 9 months, and he became the boss of that wonderful institution in charge of priests, so in charge of seminarians, and as well those going to the religious life, and also in charge of youth. In addition to in charge of a big community. If I say a big community, in terms of languages, in terms of nationalities, you have Ivorians, you have Nigerians, you have Ghanaians, you have all people from all walks of life for him. And then he was the only person in charge of this community for almost 2 years and a month or so. Father, before we run off this interview, I would want to take your last words.
I think that I would still want to thank all those who have impacted on me. Maybe people don't even know they impacted on me. Lay people, priests, and everywhere. All those who have impacted on me. You kept saying St. Raphael, and then I was helping out. If they hear that you said I was helping out there, they have issues. So well, even though my priestly naval court was planted as Staff the Sea, my life as a spiritual director, I would say, spiritual director, also began there. And I want to thank God for their lives. Look, you said they are big, and I was happy you said they are big church. Even though it's a small space, and look, they are so assertive. Yeah. They search for their faith. If they're making mistakes, they will make the mistakes. You know they are making mistakes. Oh yes, I love them for that. And they seek attention. They need attention. They will cry for attention. And this is how I think that the faithful today should be. They should keep crying out for their priest to come and visit them at home, to attend to their needs. And if I was able to go through all that over there, I thank them. Very lovely people. And they made me who I am. I think that if God says I should choose one place to be, I'm not causing problems in other places, but I think that where I am now today, I would like to still be at St. Raphael. Because they will help me to grow more, to know the Lord. Without discrediting what I got as Staff the Sea. It's a too big a parish, in terms of numbers and all that. But St. Raphael, they are very discerning. They seek, they challenge you. Children will challenge you. They will tell you what they feel. If I don't do what's right. Very assertive. So I want to thank everybody who have been part of my journey and where I am today. The workers, the staff, my boss, Father Okodi, our stations around, those who come for retreat, who support us. From time to time, they come, they dump things on us to enjoy and to also help retreatants to come and have something to eat and to live on. We thank God. May God bless. And your viewers and you yourself. I always say that I like the way you ask piercing questions. Otherwise, when we are setting an agenda and then saying the things that are folktale. Journalism is to bring the truth out and to build faith. That's all. So it's not because when somebody is not good, somebody is good. No. For us to live and give credit where it's due. When we learn from where we have made mistakes. So that's what I would say. May God bless all of us. And if my priesthood will benefit anybody to go to heaven, me, I want to go to heaven. So if you want to be also in heaven, Ayalolo, come along. Let's go.
Ayalolo, come along and let's move. And that's good.
And Ayalolo priesthood. I'm moving. If you want to join the car, let's go.
Of course, we will join the bus and then we'll go to heaven. For heaven is our home, or heaven is the prize my soul shall strive to gain. Thank you so much, Reverend Father Ebenezer Kofi Hanson, for this wonderful discussion. We're talking about your priesthood, and then we ended up diving into your 100 days at the Hermitage in South Point. We are going to talk about that because that's an important thing we need to discuss. My name is Augustus, and I've been talking to Reverend Father Ebenezer Kofi Hanson, a priest of the Catholic Archdiocese of Accra. Father, give us a blessing as we run up this interview.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Lord, once again, we want to thank you and want to pray that what you have revealed and you want to inspire in your church, in your people, will come to pass. We are only unworthy instruments, only patterns for you to make beautiful dresses for the world. Lord, use us as we are unworthy to nourish those you entrust to us. We pray for all your children who take pains to watch this program and to grow also in their faith. May you bless them, may you bless us. Bless our church, bless our Archbishop, grant him speedy recovery. Bless all the priests, bless religious brothers and sisters, bless our lay people, and together may you bless our nation as well, as we grow together in your love and peace. We ask your blessings, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Reverend Father Hanson. And once we have the blessing, who am I to give a comment or to say anything? Adios.
Sometimes statement may not be clear, but there is always a deeper understanding. It is not just about the who said what. The whens, hows, and wheres are equally important. Join me on a whole new journey in the conversation with Augustus as I bring you discussions from religion to politics, health to economy, humanity to social activities, among many others. Conversation with Augustus knows no foreign borders. The show comes to you every Wednesday at 6:15 p.m. GMT on our YouTube channel Conversation with Augustus and on Radio Angelus www.radioangelus.com. This program was sponsored by Safe Life Experience Consult Limited. Contact them for all your travel and tour needs, as well as your events.